Hey everyone, welcome back to Political X. For more knowledge and updates on UK, European and US politics, make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you haven't heard that Donald is back, and despite all evidence, still believes there was a conspiracy against him and it was a rigged election. But for the first time ever, we get to hear why Donald suggested to that crowd to go down to the Capitol and what he thought they were going to go and do down there.
On January 6th, what did you hope would happen?
Okay, so I was speaking. My goal primarily was to make a speech. And it was not a very, I think it was a relatively calm speech.
Hundreds of thousands of people here, and I just want them to be recognized by the fake news media. Turn your cameras, please, and show what's really happening out here, because these people are not going to take it any longer. They're not going to take it any longer. All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore, and that's what this is all about. And to use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal. Today I will lay out just some of the evidence proving that we won this election, and we won it by a landslide. This was not a close election. You know, I say sometimes jokingly, but there's no joke about it. I've been in 2 elections. I won them both, and the second one I won much bigger than the first, okay? And by the way, does anybody believe that Joe had 80 million votes? Does anybody believe that? He had 80 million computer votes. It's a disgrace. There's never been anything like that. You could take third world countries. Just take a look. Take third world countries. Their elections are more honest than what we've been going through in this country. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Even when you look at last night, they're all running around like chickens with their heads cut off with boxes, and nobody knows what the hell is going on. There's never been anything like this. We will not let them silence your voices. We're not going to let it happen.
Don't forget, I've had rallies that are massive. We never had any problems. We never had problems.
But what did you hope they would do when you said, go up there and stop the steal?
Well, I heard that people wanted to go down to, that wasn't my rally per se. There were a lot of people that spoke.
Yeah.
They had rallies the night before. They had speakers all over the city. You had hundreds of thousands of people. I would venture to say, I think it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. It went from that point, which is almost at the White House, to beyond the Washington Monument. It was, and wide. And
but if you could have waited,
and it was a loving crowd too, by the way. There was a lot of love. I've heard that from everybody. Many, many people have told me. That was a loving crowd. And it was too bad. It was too bad that got that they did that.
There were just
But my statement.
But Mr. President, I apologize. What we're trying to understand is not blame, not castigate.
No, I understand.
We want to understand, what did you want when you said go up there? What would you have dreamed
I would have
for
said
them to do?
that you will show not to go in, although they were ushered in by the police. I mean, in all fairness, the Capitol Police were ushering people in. The Capitol Police were very friendly. They were hugging the kids. You don't see that, but there's plenty of tape on that too. Because the Capitol Police were. That's the way it is. But personally, what I wanted is what they wanted. They showed up just to show support, because I happen to believe the election was rigged at a level like nothing has ever been rigged before. There's tremendous proof. Statistically, it wasn't even possible that he won. I mean, things such as if you win Florida and Ohio and Iowa, there's never been a loss. There was a
Then
law.
did you need better lawyers? Because they took it to court, but they didn't
No,
give
I
enough
needed better
evidence to
judges.
convince the judges.
I needed better judges. The Supreme Court was afraid to take it. Don't forget, if you take all of everything out, take all of the dead people that voted, and there were thousands of them, by the way. We have lists of, obituaries, etc. If you take the illegal immigrants that voted, if you take this, the Indians that got paid to vote in different places, we had Indians getting paid to vote. Many, many different things. All election changing, not just, 12 people. I mean, all, because they were all very close. It's only in 5 places. If you take that, forget all of that. It's massive numbers, but forget all of that. If you take all of that, just look at one thing. The legislatures of the states did not approve all of the things that were done for those elections. And under the Constitution of the United States, they have to do that. And the Supreme Court, they didn't find fact. Don't forget, they didn't say, well, we disagree. They said, we're not going to hear the case. I'm very disappointed in the Supreme Court. Had Mike Pence had the courage to send it back to the legislatures, you would have had a different outcome, in my opinion.
Is that what you told him to do, the vice president?
I didn't tell him to do anything.
What did you want him to do? What did you
I
expect
thought
him to do?
that the election was rigged. I think that when you have more votes than you had voters, I think that the Vice President of the United States must protect the Constitution of the United States, right? And it says very, very clearly, protect the Constitution of the United States. I don't believe he's just supposed to be a statue who gets these votes from the states and immediately hands them over. And that's, if you see fraud, then I believe you have an obligation to do one of a number of things. Thomas Jefferson took the votes, okay? Just so you know. You know that Thomas Jefferson was in the exact same position, but only one state, the state of Georgia. Did you know that?
We heard this was an example that John Eastman.
No, it's true. I know.
No,
Thomas,
yeah.
No. Hear ye. It was much more elegant in those days. There was hear ye. The great state of Georgia is unable to accurately count its votes. Thomas Jefferson said, "Are you sure?" They said, "Yes, we are sure." "Then we will take the votes from the great state of Georgia." He took them for him and the president. So I said, "Mike, you can be Thomas Jefferson, or you can be Mike Pence." And what happened is, and I had a very good relationship with Mike Pence, very good. But when you are handed these votes, and before you even start about the individual corruptions, the people, the this, the that, okay, all the different things that took place. When you are handed these votes and you know that the legislature of any one of those states did not approve those vast changes, hours, days, when the voting, it was all done by local politicians and local judges. Right there, you should have sent them back to the legislatures. And I could show you letters, I could show you letters from legislatures, they wanted them back. Those legislatures would have, in my opinion, had they got them, it would have been a much different story.
I hope you enjoyed my political observations this week. If you'd like to support me, please share the video with others and post about it on social media. If you're keen for more, subscribe, comment, like, and hit that notification button. Thanks for listening, and see you next time on Political X.